Which player in FPL is predicted to score the most points this game week? I'm going to give you the top 10 today, and I'm also going to give you a chance at winning £5,000 in the comments at the end of the video. First up, we've Andy Robertson at Liverpool, and I fully expect Liverpool's defence to bounce back. A lot of us went big at the back with both Robbo and Trent, and both got 1-pointers in the opening game week. I think they're going to come back at home to Crystal Palace at Anfield. I think there's returns on the cards. I think the clean sheet will be on the cards. They'll have been training hard all week. Embarrassed by that Fulham result, embarrassed by the mockery Mitrovic made of that defence. Robbo here has a predicted points of 5.5. And for a bit of context for this and the rest of the video, his expected returns are 0.78. That's including his clean sheet potential, his assist potential, and his goal potential. We combine them to see what are his expected returns, and his expected returns are 0.78, and that's pretty good. In ninth, Bukayo Saka, the new star of the All or Nothing series from Arsenal. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. And Saka got an assist in game week 1, and he's up against Leicester, who looked a bit frail at the back. They conceded 2 to Brentford. Arsenal obviously had an amazing pre-season. They have a win under their belt, and I think they're going to go out and absolutely bring it to Leicester at home. His predicted points are 5.5 and predicted returns of 0.69. Bukayo Saka could definitely get on the score sheet here, and that's why he is in 9th place. Over to the other side of Arsenal's attack for 8th place, and it's Martinelli, that guy, one of the Gabriels of Arsenal. Martinelli obviously got the goal in game week 1, setting us all off to a flyer, making a mockery of that 6 million price tag that has very quickly increased to 6.1. Another predicted points here of 5.5, predicted returns 0.67, and you might wonder why he's actually coming out ahead of Saka. And it's because his predicted minutes are a little bit lower, so you're going to get more bang per minute for your buck with Martinelli. If he does manage to play the 90, he would be predicted to score a little bit better than Saka. On to 7th place, and it's Trent Alexander-Arnold, 7.5 million. He let us down in game week 1 with a 1-pointer, but for the exact same reasons as Andy Robertson, he's predicted to do well this week. Crystal Palace at Anfield is a really good fixture. Palace failed to get on the score sheet at home against Arsenal last week. They're probably going to have an even harder time at Anfield. So the clean sheet looks very, very likely for Trent here, and with his attack and output over the last few years, the amount of balls he'd be putting into the box, the chances of an assist are just as high. We've seen him get a goal in the Community Shield. Trent can get points from anywhere. That's why he is one of the most selected players in the game. Predicted to score 6.1 points with predicted returns of 0.94. A lot of that obviously coming from assists and clean sheets. So Trent Alexander-Arnold, if you're getting rid of him because of 1 point in game week 1, you're absolutely off your game, in my opinion. In 6th place, Jared Bowen. He had 12 goals, 10 assists last year. Looked absolutely incredible for West Ham. A lot of people surprised he's still there. West Ham had a tough game against Man City in game week 1, but to be honest with you, I think any week you play Man City and they don't beat you 4-0, you're probably doing okay. You know, they'd like nearly 1,000 passes, I think. West Ham were ran around the park. I was there. If you missed the vlog and you want to see it, check it out, it's on the channel. Bowen is predicted to score 6.1 points, and that's largely down to the fixture. It's against Nottingham Forest, who got beat 2-0 by Newcastle in game week 1, so this is a plump fixture against a newly promoted team. He's a predicted goals of 0.51, predicted assists at 0.27, predicted returns of 0.78 all in, and obviously he'll have the outside chance of the 1 point for the clean sheet in midfield. So Jared Bowen could do okay this week. The trouble you'll have with him is his price point. There are definitely better options. He seems a little bit, I don't know, you could argue his price is fair, but whenever there's Martinelli's rocking around for 2.5 million cheaper, or even the likes of a Foden or a Kulusevski who did really well in the opening week, it's very hard to stretch the 8.5 for Bowen, and for that reason his ownership is quite low, with just 6.5% of managers having him. Into 5th place, and this one actually might surprise you because he is, without a doubt in my mind, but I think it's inarguably the best player in FPL and has been for seasons. Mo Salah, home to Crystal Palace. He got his goal, he got his assist, and he even got 2 bonus points in the opening game week against Fulham. For everyone who captained him, that was 24 points, 12 points raw without the captaincy, and he has that lovely home fixture I've mentioned a few times because of his teammates, Crystal Palace at home, and they'll be looking to bounce back and they'll be looking to win. After last week's result, this is very much a must-win fixture fixture or City could run away. City have Bournemouth, you know, you'd fancy them to win that, and Liverpool do not want to be chasing all the way up to Christmas, so they need to get points on the board. Mo Salah at 13 million comes in 5th. If you want to see how many points your players are predicted to score this week, head over to the link in the description. It'll bring you over to Hub and you can have a play around for free. Click around and see what you think, and there's 50% off now if you decide to sign up. On to our top 4, and there's some quite high owned players in here. In 4th, João Cancelo at Man City. He is our first player on the board predicted to get more than one return, with 1.06 predicted returns, 6.4 predicted points. At home to Bournemouth, Man City are predicted to absolutely maul them. It doesn't take a genius. Anyone who knows the Premier League knows that this is a complete and utter mismatch. Bournemouth, newly promoted with a few injuries in the squad, surprised in game week 1 when they actually beat Aston Villa 2-0. But unfortunately, I just don't think they stand a chance. According to Transfermarkt, Bournemouth's full squad total market value is about 145 million. Man City's full squad value over 900 million versus 145. Man City are at home. Cancelo can get goals, he can get assists, he's got a clean sheet in my head all but locked, but who knows, you never know where a scrappy goal can come from. I would be very, very surprised if he was your only Man City player, but if he is, he's actually a legitimate captaincy option. If you have not got Erling Haaland, Cancelo actually in my head isn't the craziest defensive captaincy I've ever heard of. Phil Foden, he is incredible. Out in that right hand side for City last week, his touch was incredible at West Ham. Was unfortunate not to get any returns, but Bournemouth at home, even if he only gets 60 minutes, even if he only gets 30 minutes off the bench, whatever sort of game time Foden's getting here, you have to fancy he has the chance of a return, but game time is definitely the biggest issue. Mahrez will be chomping at the bit. He was benched last week. With the likes of Julian Alvarez will be looking for a few more minutes. With Grealish there, Bernardo Silva, Erling Haaland should play. There's a lot of minutes there to be shared, and maybe Foden gets moved about a bit or only comes off the bench. I don't know, but if you have him, 100% you have to keep him. At 8 million, plum fixture, 7.1 predicted points, 0.93 predicted returns. Foden is our 3rd place. Those eagle eyes among you will probably have an idea who the top 2 are, but do you know what order they're in? You probably do. In 2nd place we have Kevin De Bruyne. He came away from that 2-0 win at West Ham last week with just an assist, no bonus, 6 points locked in the bag, and he has a staggering predicted returns of 1.34 against Bournemouth and 8.3 predicted points. Unfortunately, he probably isn't in a lot of your teams, and that's because Mo Salah has taken that spot, and over half of you have Erling Haaland anyway, so it's hard to justify doubling up on Haaland and De Bruyne. He is predicted to score 2 extra points than Mo Salah, so those of you out there looking to roll a transfer, if you wanted to be crazy and ballsy, you could pivot to De Bruyne. But ultimately, because of the price tag, I don't think this is one that many of you will be nimble to and moving around based off predicted points. It's a shame he's so expensive. 12 million is fair for a player of that caliber, but unfortunately, you know, we can't really bob and weave and pick him and get him in and get him out. It's very hard to rejig things, and I know you won't want to go without Mo Salah, even though he's predicted to score 2 less points. I wouldn't be surprised in this fixture to see Man City with 80% possession. You'd expect them to be pinging the ball around Bournemouth's half all game, and De Bruyne is going to be right in the middle of that. Crosses coming in, through balls, having a shot. You just never know. One more negative for De Bruyne is that he was traditionally number 2 in line for penalties behind Mahrez last season. Looks like he could be number 3, as Erling Haaland took a penalty with him on the pitch last week, so he's right down the pecking order there, but he did get 15 goals in the Premier League last year, so maybe the goals will come. And on to number 1. We've spoke about this big guy enough. You could have predicted it. He's in everyone's team. Everyone's targeted this fixture. 8.5 predicted points for the Norwegian prince, the Terminator. It's Erling Braut Haaland. He looked incredible on his Premier League debut. 2 goals. He has penalties. I think Man City have averaged something like 9 penalties this season over the last few years. That could add 10 goals this season to Haaland's game if he can keep the penalties. Bournemouth, the fixture, it's all there. 1.39 predicted returns. Erling Haaland is my captain this week for all those reasons. And I'm going to call it now on this video. If Erling Haaland scores a hat-trick against Bournemouth or better, we'll give away a free membership to someone who comments below. But John, what do I comment below? If you want a chance at winning £5,000, comment below this video your top 5 predicted scorers for the game week. Comment them in order of most points to least points, and if you don't know who to go for, why not just use our leaderboard? We think it's going to be Haaland, De Bruyne, Foden, Cancelo and Salah. I do encourage you to stray away from the pack and have a bit of fun though. Like and subscribe on your way out. We'll see you next week. Bye bye.